Hey, so today we're going to talk about the proposed stadium on Market Street, or right next to Chinatown, and why we at Love Your Block think it's a really bad idea for a bunch of reasons. Number one, historically, stadiums in cities have not worked. They've tried it lots of places. Most recently in Washington, D.C., right next to their Chinatown, and it didn't go well for the neighboring communities. On the face of it, you know, a stadium is massive. They're just these big hulking buildings, massive footprints, usually multiple stories, and what is being proposed for Market Street between 10th and 11th, Market and Filbert, is a stadium large enough for 18,000 people, primarily for the 76ers to play, because now they're currently, the stadium they do have already, they have to share with the Flyers. So they want their own space. And it will cost $1.3 billion. And takes 6 years to build. So, like I said, on the face of it, you know, stadiums are these big, massive buildings, and when you put them next to neighborhoods or commercial districts or areas that tend to be at people scale. You know, the nice thing about Chinatown is you walk around, you're looking in the windows, it's like people and movement and smells, and there's a tempo to it, and that doesn't work well with a massive stadium. Those two things, to stitch them together, is really, really hard to do, and no one's done it well, and I don't know that it's something that could happen well. You know, the idea is that people are going to come into this stadium, right? They're going to take public transit in, which is not something historically that Philadelphia has been really jazzed about. We sort of treat our public transit system like it's a punishment for poor people. And, you know, but the idea is now, you know, people that are going to have the money to pay, you know, for an NBA ticket are going to take the train in and then afterwards go to this event and then leave and spend their money in the surrounding areas. And that doesn't happen. There is a transfer, an economic transfer, but it's generally from wherever the people came from, right? So if you're coming from outside of the city, say you're coming in from Westchester, you're taking your dollars from Westchester and you're spending them inside the stadium. You're not venturing out. That's sort of the first reason in terms of, you know, what it's going to do to the surrounding area. So one of the other reasons is the proposal from the development group putting this together. You know, they're stating that they're not going to take any public money from the city or state. And I can tell you at the gate, that's kind of bullshit, because there is already a system in place for public funding for this. It's called tax incremental financing, a TIF area. So this was created to help the redevelopment of the fashion district. When it went from the gallery to the fashion district, there was an area created, and everything within that, basically the taxes were frozen. It works very much like an abatement. So the idea is the real estate taxes stay at a certain level for a period of time. For the fashion district, it was 30 years. So they have 30 years of frozen taxes. Now, the money that the developers would have put into taxes, that goes towards the development of the project. Now, the stadium, the goal is to have it done by 2031 for the 2031-32 basketball season. The TIF in place goes through 2035. So right out of the gate, they're getting 4 years of suppressed taxes for the sake of offsetting some of the development cost. And a lot of times in these projects, when they say, we're not going to ask for any money, it's like, yeah, nobody's going to hand you a check. Nobody's going to hand you the big bag of cash to go do this. But when you're taking a subsidy, when you are taking suppressed taxes, that is you getting money. Because that means there's less money going into the general fund. There's less money going to the schools. There's less money going towards everything that the city needs to run. Because you have a lowered tax bill to offset the cost of the development. That's already in place. And they've said that they plan on keeping that through the end. So, I think if you're truly going to say that you're not going to take any money, then, give up the TIF. Give up that subsidy. So if you agree with anything I'm saying, or you just want to get more information, Students for the Preservation of Chinatown has done a lot of work around this. They put together some really good slides, much more in depth. I'm just kind of hitting on the points that have stuck with me, but there's a lot more to this. And if you want to do something about it, you can reach out to whoever your council person is, and also reach out to Councilman Squilla because it's in his district. This is something that can't be built as of right. There has to be legislation that allows this to be built there. And, Councilman Squilla has to enter it and all of council has to vote on it. So those are some next steps if you want to find out more or do something about it.